Hi, everyone, and welcome into Joshing Around Milwaukee. My name is Josh Albrecht, and with me, as always, is...
Josh Albrecht.
That's right, Josh Albrecht and Josh Albrecht, and we are very, very excited to have on our guest today, Phil Sklar, the co-founder and CEO of the National Bobblehead Hall of Fame and Museum. Second time on the show. So happy to have you back. Phil, thanks for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me back.
So, first and foremost, we had you on, I think it was season 2.
It's been a little while.
And we did it from the Bobblehead Museum, and we actually ended up having our own bobblehead made, which we're going to get to all the amazing things about the Bobblehead Museum. But just, I got to tell you, in the time since we had the first time that we interviewed you to now, the amount of times that I've shown off that bobblehead is tremendous. I'm constantly just putting it out. You know, we have guests over, put it right on the mantle.
Do you have like a little fanny pack you carry it in? Just bring it out everywhere you go?
If I had something that I felt like would protect it enough, I might.
Like a nice briefcase, like padded briefcase?
Just put it in my wallet. Like some people have pictures of their kids in their wallet. Like, here's a picture of me and a bobblehead.
Did I mention I have this? Go to Buffalo Wild Wings, sit it on the table.
It's very cool, and so I appreciate you for that. But for those that don't know about your story, Phil, and the story of the Bobblehead Hall of Fame and Museum, kind of tell us how this all came to be and why Milwaukee.
Yeah, so it started with a passion for collecting. That was sports cards growing up in the mid-'80s. And that passion turned to bobbleheads in about 2003 when the other co-founder, Brad, was working for the minor league baseball team in Rockford, the Rockford Riverhawks. They gave away a bobblehead of Rocco the Riverhawk. He got one, thought it was cool. Started to circle bobblehead days on the calendar. We were going to school at UWM, and collection grew over time. 2013, we produced a bobblehead of a friend of ours, Michael Pohl, who's the manager for the Milwaukee Panthers sports teams. We thought, oh, wow, there's a lot of other characters who need bobbleheads like you guys. And so we started the idea for the museum, a one-of-a-kind museum dedicated to bobbleheads, as well as a company that produces and markets unique bobbleheads.
And so the fact that you guys decided to stay in Milwaukee, though, like, what was it about where you were like, you know what, I feel like we have this idea. Obviously, you guys both met here at UWM, but what was it that you were like, Milwaukee is the place that needs to be the home of the Bobblehead Hall of Fame and Museum?
Yeah, so we both love Milwaukee. I mean, Milwaukee is amazing. It's underappreciated. We have so many visitors that come in that are like, oh my gosh, I love Milwaukee. Like, whether it's, they're coming here at the end of their trip or to the museum at some point, and they're like, wow, I couldn't believe like the food, the culture. And we appreciated that the minute we came here to go to UWM. And so, yeah, that's there's beer, there's brat, there's brewers, there's bucks, and bobbleheads. We thought it'd be a perfect spot to stay.
Yeah.
And we had traveled across the country to go to different baseball stadiums, and we'd been to a lot of bobblehead games. People are just as crazy in Milwaukee, in Wisconsin, about bobbleheads than anywhere else in the country that we've seen. So we said, hey, perfect, let's stay here and put it right here.
Yeah. Well, and that's why I thought Milwaukee is a perfect place, because we love our sports teams so much, and it goes beyond just, the Bucks, Brewers, you have the Admirals, and I mean, bobbleheads, we see bobbleheads at all of them, all the time. And so what better place to not just get bobbleheads, but appreciate them than in Milwaukee. So the Bobblehead Museum comes together. How did you guys decide, how to lay it out? What gets to be a part of it? How you kind of showcase all of that collection?
Yeah, so we, spent quite a bit of time looking for a spot for the museum, and then a lot of time on the layout. We have it organized by category, so you have your sports with baseball, basketball, football, hockey, all the other sports like boxing, golf, tennis, so forth, and then all the non-sports, everything from politics to pop culture, movies, comics. We just wanted to be able to showcase every genre, every type, from Simpsons to Star Wars to every team, whether it's major league, minor league, independent league, is pretty much represented in the museum. And that's how we want it to be. So if somebody comes in from, Alaska, they're going to see a bobblehead that, Sarah Palin. Or if they're coming from Maine, they'll see the Maine Bears on display. So, and even out of the country, they'll see bobbleheads represented as well.
Yeah, I love it. I had the pleasure of going recently again for a repeat visit. Brought my son and one of his friends, and we spent time walking through. And I love the wall that is alphabetical order of every sports team in the United States, alphabetical order. I love that wall. It's for the front of the museum. That was a ton of fun. to check out. But the thing I loved is like you walk around and like you're saying, I think bobbleheads are synonymous with sports, but it feels like half the museum is Game of Thrones and like a Pope or whatever. And you most recently brought out Saturday Night Live characters, which I thought was brilliant. One of them being Drunk Uncle, which is one of my favorite Saturday Night Live characters of all time. Like, do you have an ongoing list of, all right, we haven't touched Saturday Night Live yet. We need to get on that?
Yeah, so we do. We have a list, and every day there's like something new. We'll see something, somebody will tell us something. We have a post-it wall at the museum where people can put up suggestions. So there's a never-ending stream of potential opportunities for bobbleheads, especially when, every day it sounds like, something new is happening. So yeah, it's a fun thing to be able to turn some of those into bobbleheads, and we have a long list of bobbleheads that we're working on that are sort of top secret. We have others that, are out there a little bit. People have heard about them, but they're not available for people to get yet. So yeah, that's always fun coming up with new ideas.
How quickly can you get one made? So I know you guys are usually really good about jumping on pop culture trends and things that are happening. So like how quickly could you move on a bobblehead to get it in production and then in the museum?
Yeah, so the Pope, I guess, is a good example. He was one of our most popular bobbleheads in 2025. We were waiting with the conclave to see who the next Pope was going to be. We were shocked, like everybody else, that it was an American and from our backyard in Chicago. So this, basically the second that was announced, we had our designer create a rendering. By that afternoon, we had a bobblehead available for pre-order. And in December, the bobbleheads came in. We thought would be enough. They sold out for the first run, some more are coming. But yeah, we can move really quickly. It generally takes about 45 days for the factory to produce them and 45 days for shipping, but we can be, super quick on getting a design out there.
Yeah, and I know that, as we mentioned, custom bobbleheads are available, and as you mentioned, you can also purchase some of these amazing bobbleheads that the Bobblehead Museum actually makes, not just the collection itself. We're going to get into that and a little bit more, just about all the things that the Bobblehead Hall of Fame and Museum can do when we come back on Joshing Around Milwaukee. Stay tuned. Welcome back, everyone, to Joshing Around Milwaukee. We are having a great time with our guest, Phil Sklar, and you can have a great time at the Potawatomi Sportsbook. When it comes to sports betting, scrolling through an app is fine and all, but it just isn't the real thing. It's missing that edge, that exhilaration of live action. There's really only one place to get that, and that is the Potawatomi Sportsbook. The state-of-the-art space features a full bar, food menu, seating for over 200, dozens of kiosks, and over 2,000 square foot video wall. Potawatomi Sportsbook, bet above the rest. So I was just thinking about this during the break, and do you remember the custom bobbleheads, like way back in the day? It was where it had a little slot that you could cut out a face from a picture, and you slid that in. And that was the closest thing you were ever going to get to a custom bobblehead. In comparison to what you guys can do now, it's, night and day. It's amazing, the quality, too, of a custom bobblehead. And when you think about it, the same way that you guys can make one for the Pope, now you can make one for anybody, right?
That's right, yeah.
So talk to us a little bit about, because especially if for the person in your family, you're like, I have no idea what to get them. They have everything. Do they have a custom bobblehead of themselves? I bet they don't. How do people get that done?
Yeah, so we actually have a couple of the ones where you slip the paper in, the picture in at the museum, and we have some of our staff's pictures in there. And then under them are the custom bobbleheads, so all of our staff have bobbleheads that are on display. So you can check them out in person at the museum, but you can go to store.bobbleheadhall.com, click on custom, and do your full bobblehead there. You just upload a couple of pictures, and you get to see the process from start to finish. So just like how we look at the pictures of the Pope bobblehead and mold stage and painted stage, you get to do the same for your friend, family, relative, yourself, whoever it might be. And it takes about 4 to 8 weeks, depending on how quick you are with approvals. But yeah, it's a great present. Valentine's Day, Mother's Day, Father's Day, the holidays, birthdays, whatever it might be.
Yeah. And do you make a second one to put in the museum if they do that?
No, we don't. Or we'd have have to have another floor to the museum for the custom ones. But
so that was going to be a big question because if first of all, if you haven't been to the Bobblehead Museum, you have to go. It's just an absolutely incredible just sight to see. But you guys, for the time that you guys have been open, there have been so many bobbleheads that have come through. I know people that heard stories. People have brought bobbleheads to kind of donate to the museum. How do you decide what gets shelf space where and highlighted? How do you guys make those decisions?
Yeah, it definitely gets trickier now as we have, all the tops of the shelves filled up, which when we opened wasn't the case. And so, yeah, we try to keep an eclectic mix of, we don't need 25 Barry Bonds bobbleheads out. We have a couple of them. So, we might take a Barry Bonds bobblehead off, keep a couple, and put, one of the newer Giants players on display if we get a collection of Giants bobbleheads in. But it'll be something that we'll have to think about because we do have over 10,000, close to 11,000 bobbleheads on display now. Not a lot more room for display, and new bobbleheads continue to come in. So, maybe we'll have a bigger space at some point. We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, 11,000 on display. Do you have an estimate of how many you have in total in storage and everything?
Yeah, so there's at least another 7,500 in storage in terms of unique bobbleheads. But yeah, some of that is, does somebody want to go to a museum and see 100 Barry Bonds bobbleheads? Maybe at some point we'll have that, but we'll continue to grow and see what we can do.
Yeah. So what if let's say a faraway city like the minor league team in Spokane, Washington does a bobblehead. How do you get notified that there's a new one? Do they mail it to you? Are you keeping tabs? You get a Google alert going? How does that happen?
So we do have several Google alerts, but yeah, when it comes to new bobbleheads, a lot of times the teams will send them to us. Somebody will bring them in. We'll do some outreach as well, usually towards the beginning and then the end of the season. We'll get sometimes packages unsolicited where, a team just sends in the bobbleheads. And so, yeah, it's always fun. We'll, especially if it's like a bobblehead that gets a lot of buzz, like the Yankees did some Seinfeld bobbleheads, we'll reach out and, sometimes collaborate with them on some promotion related to it as well.
Yeah, and you've got, this is for centuries of bobbleheads, right? Like you have a wall that goes through the timeline of when the first documented bobblehead was. And I'm trying to refresh my memory. It was centuries ago. It was hundreds of years ago.
Yeah, so the late 1700s, actually. So there's a painting of Queen Charlotte in her dressing room at Buckingham Palace. They had two figurines behind her, and their heads nodded. And we have two that were from 1841 in the museum that people can see.
How do you estimate the value of an 1841 bobblehead?
Yeah, so you have to look at sort of what they've sold for at auction in the past, and in some cases they haven't, and it's just you don't really know because we wouldn't really sell it, so
priceless.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Although, I mean, talk about another stocking stuffer, 1841.
Yeah, that's right.
Bobblehead.
Yeah.
Everyone.
Have you ever taken it on the road? Have you taken, as other museums requested, loaners? Because I know that happens in the museum world, right?
Yep. So we have done some things with other museums. We did something with the Cincinnati Reds Hall of Fame and Museum. We've done a couple other things. We've done some collaboration with the Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown. So yeah, we'll continue to do more of that, especially as we've grown up the number of duplicates that we have. So we'll be able to share the love from Milwaukee to other cities and have some traveling things.
Is there anyone out there, is there a bobblehead out there that you don't have in the museum and you're like Indiana Jones style, like hunting it down?
Grail.
Yeah, like you're hunting it down. You're like, it belongs in the museum.
It belongs in the museum.
Yeah, so I guess the holy grail when it comes to bobbleheads is a 1960 New York Yankees oversized bobblehead. So it's about 14 inches tall. We have the regular size bobblehead. The oversized one sold for about $90,000 a couple of years ago.
That's it?
That's it, yeah.
No,
so it's not the Honus Wagner, $3 million, $5 million level. But there's only a couple known in existence. There's also an oversized Packers one that would be cool to have. I think that one's in the $30,000 range.
Which athlete was that?
That's just sort of a generic, that boy-faced classic bobblehead style from the 60s. Yeah.
So, and I was thinking about that too, because those are like the classics, and you don't see as much of that, like even retro style being pumped out anymore. Does that make that like more rare when teams do of that kind of, I don't know, would you call it vintage, retro, whatever it is, style of bobblehead? Yeah,
I think it is. Fans still enjoy it. The Brewers have done one a couple of years ago that, fans seem to really like. So I think we'll see teams, they'll experiment with things and see what's popular, what works, what doesn't work, and then other teams sort of latch on. But I think, if the Bucks did a retro style bobblehead, people would eat that up.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I want to talk a little bit more. We've been talking about, out of those 11,000 you guys have on display, I want to talk about some of your favorites in the museum and maybe a few that you guys have coming up as well. When we come back on Joshing Around Milwaukee, stay tuned. Welcome back, everyone, to Joshing Around Milwaukee. We're having a great time with Phil Sklar from the National Bobblehead Hall of Fame and Museum, located right here in Milwaukee. Phil, thanks again so much for being with us and talking all things bobbleheads, which you have on display in the Hall of Fame and museum. What makes a bobblehead a bobblehead?
So, for us, we've sort of been a little bit lenient on that. So if it bobbles, we will put it in. So there's some that don't have necessarily a head that bobbles. It might have an arm that bobbles, like Leonardo da Vinci. There's a bobble that his arm bobbles holding a paint. And so, it's we're a little bit lenient. If it bobbles, we'll accept it.
I love it. And what's the craziest one though?
Yeah.
Like the Da Vinci one sounds pretty crazy, but is there like a bottle of beer that bobbles or something like that?
There's a bottle of beer that bobbles. Yeah, we actually do have the Mount Rainier beer. But I'd say the craziest is Mr. Hanky, the Christmas poo that bobbles from South Park.
South Park. Yeah, that's probably a good one.
Yeah.
Obviously, you've been a part of the collective album. Do you have a story of getting a specific bobblehead that always sticks out in your mind of like, it's just crazy how we came to have this?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I'd say, when we started the idea for the museum, we started to get people that, reached out and said, hey, I have this collection or I have these bobbleheads. There's a couple that stick out. I guess the biggest one would be a gentleman from Cleveland area who had terminal cancer, heard about the museum, right when we announced it. He knew that he didn't have much time left. He had this huge collection. They called him Bobblehead Bob, almost 1,500 bobbleheads. He reached out and said, I want to get you these bobbleheads so everybody can enjoy them. So we accepted his donation, put the we have most of his bobbleheads on display. It was a really eclectic collection. So his story was actually featured on ESPN, CNN, several other things. Because we asked him what he wanted, what can we do? And he said it'd be cool if there was a story in the local paper. The local paper ended up doing a story, and it got picked up nationally. So, it was great. His family said it, really extended his life. He lived, about 6 months longer than they were even expecting.
That's awesome. That's an incredible story. So is there one bobblehead, if people are going through and they don't know the values of them, is there one that you have on display or maybe that you don't bring out all the time that would, because of the value of the bobblehead?
Yeah, so people do come in and say, like, what's the most expensive bobblehead? What's the most valuable? We generally don't tell it's not good museum practice in general, but we have, there's some that are behind glass.
Just pull it out. Yeah. Oh, yeah, this one right here.
Yeah.
So, this one of these two guys that host the podcast.
Yeah, the Joshing
Around. This is the most valuable one. Yeah. You want to hold it?
Yeah, but generally, we have some behind glass because they're more fragile, maybe a little bit more valuable. But yeah, we have the Beatles set from 1960s. We have some of the first player-specific bobbleheads like Roberto Clemente, Willie Mays, Mickey Mantle, Roger Maris. So yeah, some of those are quite valuable.
What's the largest bobblehead either that you have or in the world? Do you know that?
Yeah, so we have a 7.5 foot tall bobblehead in the museum, and that's a Vladimir Guerrero senior, and that was actually the Harrisburg team has they call it the Bobblehead Walk of Fame, where they make life-size bobbleheads of some of their best players that played there. We have another 6 foot tall bobblehead. The biggest is 17 feet. Conan O'Brien had one made for his show.
Wow.
When he was in Chicago, actually.
Maybe instead of because eventually there will be a Giannis statue.
Yeah.
In the city.
Make his head
maybe it's a bobblehead one.
There you go. Yeah.
But then I want it to be 17 and a half.
Yeah. Well,
18.
Yeah.
Right,
No, I mean, we might as well go big. Make it 30 feet tall. Make it a bobblehead.
Come on. Get out of here, Conan.
How about 34 feet for number 3?
There we go.
Yeah, I love it.
I love it.
I do want to plug real quick. So great to get a chance. Great for families. When I went during the holiday season, there were several people that I heard over here because you have a great map where people can put where they're from. Heard people from all across the country there when I was there that day, but super affordable. It's only $5 admission, right?
Yep, $5 plus little tax.
So super affordable for families. Great fun time, and then obviously every year the Bobblehead Museum is a participant in Visit Milwaukee's Museum Days. So we really appreciate you doing that. This year it's January 22nd through February 1st. Mm-hmm. Great time to come get a discount admission off that $5 admission. So what is already affordable is even more affordable during Museum Days, but it's like a perfect thing. So if you're coming from out of town or you're local, you're above Collectivo Coffee. You're on the second floor of Collectivo Coffee, fully accessible. There's elevators for those who need accessibility. You're on the perfect morning, Josh. You go, you get your breakfast at Collectivo, 10 o'clock, the museum opens, hop right up there, go through the museum. You still got a full day ahead of you. It's perfect.
And the other thing, too, is even if you've been there before, they're constantly changing them out. So it's not a, well, I went to that once. No, keep going. You'll see new things there as well. The other thing that I want to make sure that we point out before we're done is, first, Phil, what's the website address for people to go to?
Yeah, it's bobbleheadhall.com.
Okay, so go to bobbleheadhall.com and sign up for the newsletter. I sign up for the newsletter, and it's they send you that when those renderings are done for the pre-orders of those bobbleheads. And it's, that the second that you're like, oh, that's brilliant. Oh, I need that. They'll sell out if you wait. But if you sign up for the newsletter, then you're the first one to know, and you can make sure you get that one to add to your collection.
Pro tip: this guy knows how to plan.
It's the best. If you're going to truly take advantage of everything that the Bobblehead Museum does, you got to sign up for the newsletter. I've been a huge fan of it since I signed up a couple years ago. So anything else you can give us before we're done here on maybe some up and coming bobbleheads that people should keep an eye out for?
Yeah, so we're going all in on America's 250th birthday. We just released a Declaration of Independence bobblehead set, the first bobblehead celebrating Declaration of Independence. You mentioned the Saturday Night Live bobbleheads earlier. We have the first Blue Man Group bobbleheads. They'll be in Milwaukee in a couple weeks here. We're excited about that. We have, just a lot of new ones coming out throughout the year. So Marilyn Monroe's on our new license list, so it'll be her 100th birthday in June. We're excited on a new collection for that, and stay tuned. Sign up for the newsletter, and you'll be the first to know.
Yeah, and then get your Declaration of Independence bobblehead, which
right.
you didn't know you needed.
Yeah.
Is it the actual scripted piece of paper, or is it the founding fathers?
These are the founding. So it has John Hancock, John Adams.
I think you were thinking the piece of paper.
It is the 250th birthday, so we're having bobbleheads throughout the year. So maybe we just talked about the next new bobblehead that we'll be making.
Yes, that's what I want. Yeah. Hey, if you can make a bottle of beer bobble, why not Declaration of Independence? Thank you so much, Phil, for joining us and for just your commitment to the craft and the collection and putting it all on display for not only Milwaukee, but everyone worldwide that stops by to enjoy. Thank you.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining us for this episode of Joshing Around Milwaukee. For more information on Joshing Around, make sure to go to visitmilwaukee.org. We'll see you. All right, everyone. Thanks again so much for joining us for this episode of Joshing Around Milwaukee. If you are seeing this part of the show, it is because you are watching or listening on one of Visit Milwaukee's social media platforms, and we truly do appreciate it. Having a great time with our guest, Phil Sklar from the National Bobblehead Hall of Fame and Museum. And Phil, this is the big part of the show. Josh asks you his big question. Josh, take it away.
Yeah, so we love to say there's lots of great momentum, a lot of cool things going on in the city of Milwaukee right now. We call that Fresh City Vibes. What's giving you Fresh City Vibes right now?
Yeah, so the downtown dog park, we're loving it. Going there several times a week, bringing Sammy, a dog that we just got in April from the Wisconsin Humane Society there. It has lights. It's super well taken care of. Turf. She loves running around. It's really perfect size. Get to interact with a lot of dogs. The lights come in super handy because there's great dog parks in the city of Milwaukee, Milwaukee County. But this is the first one that has lights, and it's perfect. And,
it's a great spot right under the underpass, right along the river. Super convenient, the heart of downtown, right by the 3rd Ward as well. Not too far from the Bobblehead Museum. Do you do the walk back and forth?
We haven't walked her back yet, but we definitely could. When it gets a little nicer weather, she'll enjoy that. But and there's also going to be, I think, a Foxtown Brewery right next to it that they're building. We got to watch that come up, and they're extending the river walk right there. So it's exciting. Great timing for it opening. It opened, I think, just a couple weeks before we got her, and I don't know what we'd do otherwise because she has a ton of energy. And, she just runs back and forth chasing all the dogs, the balls.
Well, and to your point, too, especially, there's that time of year where it seems like the sun's out only for a couple hours and then it's dark again. And so not having to worry about that and know that you can still go and the lights will be on is great.
That's perfect. But I can't. In the last segment, we were just talking about the largest bobblehead. I'm obsessed with the largest bobblehead statue now. Like I feel like Milwaukee needs to have that, and it needs to be somewhere prominent, and it needs to be like down at Veterans Park or somewhere fully accessible that the crowds can gather and take a photo.
Yeah, which they will. By the way,
we need a giant bobblehead.
We have learned that the people that live here in the surrounding areas, they will go see giant things.
Yeah.
So we need to find a way to make this happen.
Yeah, maybe it's along the river walk from the dog park to the museum. It's like a walk of fame.
Yeah.
So we'll get working on it.
I think there's some things we can do here for sure.
Yeah. Also, do you know where that Conan O'Brien one is?
So actually, he donated to the city of Chicago. City of Chicago didn't want it. He took it back. He collects art, apparently related. Like people send him art, made out of somebody made like a painting out of corn. And so his bobblehead last we heard was at a studio parking lot because we asked, hey, would you be interested in having it on display at the museum? We would have to find a new spot because our ceilings aren't 17 feet tall.
Right.
But
it could be just out front.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. Like,
it.
If we end up making, we push that to the second place and we have the tallest bobblehead, I feel like it's got to just be where's the bobblehead? Oh, there it is. You just look up and you see a gigantic bobblehead.
Yeah.
It
would be amazing.
Oh, be incredible. Make it like part of the skyline.
It's our Statue of Liberty. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, dream big.
Give me your
Dream
your little messes, your bobbleheads. Yeah.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
250, man.
Yeah.
America 250.
Yeah. Why not? Let's do it. Awesome. Well, thank you again, Phil, so much for joining us, and we hope that the National Bobblehead Hall of Fame and Museum continues to grow and be successful, and that people can really cherish it the way that I know Josh and I have.
Perfect. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. Thank you again so much for joining us on this episode of Joshing Around. And as I mentioned, if you're looking for more information on Joshing Around, or maybe you want to see our first episode that we did from the Bobblehead Museum, you can find out all of that information at visitmilwaukee.org. We'll see you next time.
'Cause two Joshes are better